Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about lesson 41, naming numbers through the hundred billions. So let's take a look at our place value chart. So here we have what we're used to, ones, tens, hundreds, then the thousands units, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. Well, this pattern of 1, 10, 100, 1, 10, 100, 1, 10, 100 continues with the billion. Then we move into 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 million. The pattern doesn't change. We just change the number that we associate with it. We also put our commas in between our sets of three. So we always have a ones, tens, hundreds, comma, 1,000, 10,000, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, comma, 1 million, or 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, comma. Every theory we have a comma. You must write the comma. Some of you, I have noticed in your work recently, have not been putting commas into larger numbers. It is now required, or I will mark your answer incorrect. Okay? So let's talk about then how we say these words. Let's say that I have a number 419. I'm just making up numbers. Okay, so I always read my numbers left to right, like you know. So I'm going to read this 86 like it was an 86 in the ones place. And I only say billions when I get to the comma. These commas are like reminders to say the word name. So if I was to read this, I would say 86 billion 341 million 932,604. Notice I did not say an and in there anywhere. Okay, so reading large numbers reads the same way as it does through the millions. Now we're just moving one grouping to the left and adding the billions in there. So let's take a look at our examples now. Okay, example 1. Which digit shows the number of 100 billions in this very large number? So let's read this together. 987 billion, start that again. 987 billion, 654 million, 321,000. So, which shows the 100 billions? That would be the 9. Now let's talk for a minute between the difference between digit, place value, and value. So a digit is just a number. It's usually 0 through 9. So what single number is in the 100 billions place? That would be a 9. Place value is ones, tens, hundreds, million, 10 million, 100 billion, okay? That's the place that that number is in. The value then is what that number is worth. So this digit is a 9. It is in the hundreds billion place. Its value is 900 billion. So the value of this 9 in the hundreds billion place is 900 billion. Okay? All right, let's move on to example 2. What is the value of the 2 in the number 12,345,678? So the first thing I have to do is I have to find out what place is this 2 in? And by counting, I know that it's in the 1, 10, 100, 1, 10, 100,000, million. So it's in the millions place. So then the value of that 2 will be 2 million. I have 2 of them. They're in the 1 millions place. So I can multiply, and the value is 2 million. All right, example 3. Now let's talk about writing words. Use words to name this number. Well, I find it easier when I'm having to write a word name for a number. I want to rewrite the number on my paper. And I want to rewrite it making sure that I'm putting commas in the correct places. So I'm going to write the digits 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 0, 0. And now working from the right, I'm going to put in my commas. So 1, 10s, hundreds, comma, 1, 10, 100, comma. So I can read this as 1,345,200. So that's what I'm going to write. 1 million comma, I have a comma in my number, so I also have a comma in my words. 300 40 hyphen 5,000, another comma, 200. Now, notice I am writing out my actual number words. 1, 3, 45, 2. Okay, I'm writing those out. I don't want to see 1 million 300. Okay, that's cheating. You need to write the entire words. Okay? All right, example 4. So for example 4, now we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to use digits or numbers to write my problem. So I'm going to break it down into groups. Okay? 134 billion. Okay, let's start there. 134, and when I say billion, that's going to be my comma. 134 billion. Okay, our next set. 652 million. Okay? 652 million. When I say million, I write my comma. 700,000. Okay? 700,000 is my comma, and now I need to put in the ones, tens, hundreds. So this is what that number should look like. 134 billion, 652 million, 700,000, and the zeros on the end. Okay? All right, example 5. 2,500,000 in expanded notation or expanded form. Okay, this is just like we did last week, just with bigger numbers. So 2 times 1 million, because that 2 is in the millions place, plus 5 times 100,000, because that 5 is in the 100,000s place. And that's it, okay? Because everything else is a 0, you don't need to write anything else. All right, that's it for your examples tonight. Your lesson practice does go on to the next page through M. I will see you in the morning.